when I died, I get my freedom back. I get my connection to the divine back. Not to the divine, to the God. I was surrounded by nothing but unconditional love. There was no barriers in knowledge. I knew anything and everything. I could move so quickly between the heavens, because I went to heavens, which look more like a cosmos. And if I remember I want to check on my earthy mom, in a split of a second, so fast, I was instantly in the hospital looking at my mom.
Welcome back to Perspective Switch. We are here again with Elzbieta, and we had her on another episode previously. She's had 2 near-death experiences, right?
That is a very tricky question. So I was in a hospital with lifeless body on a operating table after accident, and I consider that this was really that defined moment where I was gone from this reality. And this is my awakening. I was 17 at that time.
Yeah.
But after that, in my 30s, I want to say roughly, I have so many moments, and I think those are maybe exit moments. So every single one of us, before you reincarnating on Earth, you have a day when you are going to actually enter this reality, so your day of birth, and then you have an exit, and you also day of exit. And I'm so sorry to all the people who are trying so hard to, change their body and live longer. You decide how long you're gonna live before you were reincarnated. That's why you're gonna have a grandma who is a smoker, drinker, and whatever, and she's 101, and she's like, just be happy, drink and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
And then you have someone who is exercising and is incredible, health nerd, and then they're gonna have an accident and they die. Your life plan is completely mapped out before you are entering this reality.
Do you feel like we have some freedom of a choice, though, while we're in it?
So first of all, we have to know who we are. Yeah. And we're going into philosophy. You are instrument in the toolbox of your soul. And your soul will have way more than one body reincarnated on variety of planets, variety of dimensions at the same time. That's why sometimes the personalities may leak from one to another, or you have vivid dreams and they keep repeating themselves, and it's almost like you have a second life. So that sometimes can go between the body, with the 2 bodies. So when you look in a mirror, you think that you are you. But that is so far away from truth. You are the soul that is living in this body. When you get to the point of exit and transition, and in this reality we call it death, when you get to the point of death, your physical body is staying here and you're moving up to a higher dimension from which you came in. So that could be the 5th dimension, for example. When you are in this physical body, you do have a little bit of wiggling space. Generally, you will repeat a pattern.
Oh, we're going into patterns now.
Yeah, let's talk about the patterns.
I feel like there's this pattern coming up for me. Last night, I went out and had a drink with someone, and it was an amazing conversation, and I love her so much. And then when we were leaving, I felt like I was over talking, and she just wanted to go home already. And I have been replaying that in my head, like, she doesn't like me, I messed up, I should have been more intuitive. And I fell asleep thinking this. I woke up feeling anxious. I do this all the time with so many people. I make up stories of why they don't like me.
So your lesson is to raise your self-appreciation, to think more of yourself. So that probably in a childhood, something, everything is from the childhood. If we only could be born at the age of 8, our lives would be so easy. It could be something super, super small that made you feel that you shouldn't be talking. Maybe your parents were talking or your mom were talking to a friend and you were interrupting and she said, oh, just hush. And you're like, oh my God, I talk too much. I'm not a good child.
Yeah.
So you're working on that right now. So self-esteem, self-appreciation.
Yes.
When I was in art school, we were learning about the medieval times. And in medieval times, we as a species, as a humans, we believe that we need to punish ourselves. So there were pilgrimages walking, and they will have those whips, and they will keep whipping themselves as they walk, deprivating themselves of water and food in the same time, and their blood will just go off their back, and it was a nasty thing. And as a species, I don't know when that started, but we kind of feel like we need to punish ourselves for who we are in order to be better. And this is absolutely not true, because what we're doing in that situation is we're forgetting that we are that divine being having human experience, divine being being the soul being the particle of the God with the capital G, having this moment, because 70 years, 80 years, 90, even 100 years is nothing. It's just like a blink of eye. So having this moment of experience where we can have interactions with other people, have an interaction with nature, see how it is, feel how it is to be in nature. Mm-hmm. When I was outside of my body and I travel doing the hospital, and I travel to, I don't even know how to describe it, but to the place where I think God was, or at least in that direction. You don't have necessarily sunshine over there and flowers and wind. You cannot feel wind on your skin. You don't have a skin. So it is kind of, being on earth is kind of like an experiment for the soul to see how it is to experience whatever is here. So what is here? We have the gravitation, we have the sun radiation, we have the wind, we have the water. Water is absolutely sacred, it has memory. You want to tap into spirituality, you meditate with water, drink that water, meditate to the water. I mean, the water is absolutely magical. You have a possibility to experience, I don't know if I said this already, duality, and experience something that we consider negative. Negative, bad, vicious doesn't really exist in the spiritual realm of the universe. It may a little bit exist on a fourth dimension where we have the reptilian species and so forth, and this is like maybe not the place to be in, definitely not the best to meet with them or make any kind of agreements, deals and transactions like, hey little demon, you help me and you can have my soul. This is so real, and people don't realize what they do. And I met a couple people who've done that, and they think that once they die, this is kind of gonna get deactivated, and it's not true. If you exchange your soul for whatever, that's it. The deal is done. You voluntarily exchange your soul. Your soul is not yours anymore.
Did they consciously do that?
Yes, because they think that this life that is here is so important, which is not, and is so important for those people to kind of succeed that they will do anything to succeed. It's really not worth it. Again, this is just like a one eye blink. You have millions of lives.
Yeah.
So to take that little part of the connection that you have to the divine, which the divine is basically unconditional love. So to have that connection and rip it out and exchange with a demon for that, 70 years or whatever years you have it here on this planet, it's so not worth it.
Mm-hmm. And wait, so going back to patterns.
Yes.
How do you define a pattern?
Okay, so you keep repeating something in your life.
Yeah.
You married for a third time. It is the same person, different name and different things, but it's the same issues, yeah? So you get divorced, you get married for the fourth time, the same, and you're like, oh my God, just the people I'm marrying, they just like, it's never gonna work out, they not getting me, they whatever. But when you have stuff that is not working in your life, you have to work with yourself. You can, because it's something in you that is not aligned with the divine, or is not aligned with your divine purpose, or you need to learn. A lot of times when you are on earth, you're going to have challenges that you decide before you were reincarnated that you want to work on, either to have the experience how it is to get to that point of knowledge or perfection. If perfection in a quotes, there is really nothing perfect on earth, but how it is to raise to the next level. So it's not about being on the next level. It's about the journey of getting to the next level.
Yeah. And this ties into one of our questions about the waiting period, right?
Yeah,
And
so let's talk
faith in-
about it. So someone, let's just quickly say that before the podcast, I was like, hey, let's see what your viewers would like to know. And we picked a couple questions out of the ones that came in. So someone asked, how do you are doing the waiting period? Like you want something, you're going somewhere, you know, to a destination of your life, in your life, I'm sorry. So you work towards something and it's taking forever. Waiting period is extremely important because it may look like nothing is happening, but when you have day-to-day experiences, you are actually getting a knowledge or interaction with people, or you're raising your vibration just because you're next to someone or just because you have an aha moment. I actually ask my guides because I am also in a transition right now, just like actually a lot of light workers right now.
Yeah, I'm in a huge transition period.
We all going through transition.
And I'm feeling frustrated.
Yeah.
Like I want it to hurry up.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling impatient. But what you were saying was that we're not ready yet. Like that actually might be really uncomfortable and maybe even detrimental to what I truly want to accomplish.
Yes, that is 100% accurate. So when I talk to my guides, I said, oh my God, how much longer? I'm like, I'm done and I'm so ready, like how much longer? And it showed me number 3, which almost looked like 3 days. And I said, well, that's fine. We can just shift right now in that meditation. And they say, yes, we can. And then they show me a flash of how that reality will look like. And they say, you're not ready. You need those 3 days, even if this is a very short period of time, because you need to realign more. So rushing it is gonna just make you flustered and frustrated and overwhelmed versus waiting the short period of time is gonna give something to me that I may actually not be aware of because it's so subtle and so small, but necessary.
Yeah.
We have to remember that we're not only interacting, you know, with our friends or social media or books or whatever we're getting our knowledge from, but we also interact at night with our guides. So I don't know, maybe I needed one more trip to the spaceship or some kind of class.
Yeah.
Or some kind of knowledge. So yeah, so being patient, waiting is gonna be only beneficial to you in the long run. It's not about being at that point where you want to be, but it's about that destination, that experience of raising your vibration to the moment where you are now ready to be on that level, whichever level that is. Yeah.
And there's also another important thing of letting that version of you die.
Yes.
Which is what I am experiencing with this podcast is like, the version of me right now is not the same version of me that has a bigger community built with Perspective Switch. And like I have to go through those phases of life of where like this part of me has to die, and maybe that's not there yet. Maybe I'm not ready yet.
So it definitely, that part of you needs to die. Because whoever you are at this moment is whatever you are able to create at this moment, and you know how your reality look like. All your problems and issues and all your good stuff that is already working for you and happiness, you know that. You are exposed to it, all every day. So you know how that look like. If you will be already on a level where you want to be, your life will look very differently. So that life needs to kind of, that version of you needs to die in order for offspring of that new frequency of you that is now ready to create whatever you decided to create.
And another thing that's coming up for me right now is this feeling of regret of like, I wish I just started this 5 years ago.
Well, but you couldn't. Yes, because 5 years ago, you were a very, very different person than who you are now.
Yeah.
You couldn't. You were not in the right place, physically, mentally, emotionally, with your experiences, with your desires, spiritually foremost, you were not there. Also, I think that when we serving others, like you are serving others, yeah, you're serving your audience, you're serving the people who you are talking to, you need to be ready for it, but also your collaborates, which is the people on the other side of the camera and the people who you're interviewing, they have to be ready for you as well. So it's kind of like a matching of both. Our economy is not the best at this moment. It's kind of shaky, yeah? So a lot of people is suffering and they want more money. So what do they say? Oh, I'm meditating, I'm asking for abundance. Oh my God, if there's anything you can get from this podcast with me today, please get that thing. When you say, I want abundance, and naturally as a human, the next thing that kicks in your brain is why you want it. So you present to, I couldn't buy this whatever, or I couldn't buy this, seminar or this handbag or this new TV or whatever is it. What you just did, you shoot yourself in the foot, because you say you want more of abundance, and then you very clearly show to the divine frequency that you want more of the abundance of not having.
Wow. Yeah. Very clearly put.
Yeah.
That's it.
So what you want to do is first of all, if you're going to meditation where you decided to talk about abundance with the universe, you have to raise your vibration to the level where you're not going to dive into the thinking that you're not having enough of whatever is it. Not enough money, not enough love, not enough health, not enough whatever. So you say, I request abundance, but you already have to vibrate almost like you have it. So you have to be able to do that for like 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah. And I think another valuable point is that money is not the only form of abundance.
Yes, correct.
So that would be the easiest way to tap into abundance, is to not think about money, if that's what you really want.
Okay, so let's address the money. So if we're asking for abundance of money, we will say, I request of abundance of money, and then you're gonna say in American dollar because you live in America, or in whatever is your currency, because if you just say a lot of money, well, what money?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different abundances. Is that English? Because abundance means multiply. It means a lot. It doesn't define of a lot of what. You have to say what you want. I wish of abundance of health. I wish of abundance of love.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I wish of the abundance of amazing friendships.
Because if you just say, I just want more abundance, then the universe could be like, yeah, you have an abundance of lack. You have what you want.
Yes. So if you say I want an abundance of friends because I feel so lonely. So if you don't specify that is amazing, beautiful friends who gonna make me raise my vibration and nurture me, and I can nurture them, and you're gonna put there whatever you want, but if you just say, I want an abundance of friends, and then you immediately after that, you feel that you are so alone in this world and everyone is rejecting you and judging you, you will create more of the rejection and judging. And people who will come in as friends, but they very quickly gonna turn into judging you and abandoning you in a way. So for the time of meditation, again, it can be very short, 10, 15 seconds. You have to hold the vibration high. You have to know what you're requesting. Write it down on a piece of paper and then just read it. Because as soon as you dive in, the very next thing that you say after abundance and the feeling that you have after you say abundance, that's what's going to show up. So make sure that you have the high vibration feeling and you have also a clear understanding of what you're requesting.
Yeah. So as you were talking, I was thinking there's 3 pieces to this recipe. And first, it would be specifically asking, what do you want? Second, you have to believe that you can receive it. And then third is our beautiful waiting period, having faith and trusting that it's going to come when it's ready to come.
And more you believe in it, then faster it comes. You have to realize that when you have a podcast, or anybody else who have a podcast, this is a very important position in all this awakening movement, because who you are is you are the vocal cord for the audience. And through your podcast, all of the people who have something to share are coming and they're sharing. So you're working with this chakra.
Yes.
That's what this is all about for you in your reality. So you want to nurture the chakra, first of all, blue crystals on it, like this is the most important part of your physical body, as a matter of fact, or anyone else who does podcast. And even when you're grounding yourself, you want to ground yourself with this chakra. Like pull from energy from this chakra into the ground, because you want to manifest that opening of this vibration into earth. Once you ground it in the earth, now it can come to physical reality. You already have it connected to the divine, because otherwise you wouldn't create the podcast yet. So that is established. Grounding it to earth is gonna make it a bigger, juicier, louder, more impact, more people coming in to interview and stuff like that.
And I want to end what we just said with that it is so important to have a passion project because it creates this liveliness in each person to live their life and to have a focus and a destination and a goal and to really feel good about their life.
Yes, because this is where your soul is expressing itself.
Yes.
Your soul is not expressing itself being in a traffic to your work or from your work or doing a job that is sucking life out of you. That is part of the patterns and the obstacles that you decided to give yourself before you were born in order to grow. So if you are athlete, in order to become, a member that goes to Olympics, you have to go through a training and you have to train all the muscles. And that goes through a lot of persistence, a lot of physical pain, a lot of discipline, a lot of dedication, and probably a million other things. The same with everything. So if you want to create a podcast, you're preparing yourself to go to the Olympics of podcasts.
Oh, I am. I even have this competitor side of me that's like, I want to be the best. And I try to keep that balance. Like, I don't want to go too much into that.
Why not?
But I also, I think it might be, I feel like it could become toxic. Like if I was just like, I got to be the best and da 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 da. But I also really do
being
enjoy
the best
that
and
energy.
like kind of fight. I'm gonna fight every other podcast. Go through spiritual side. So your spiritual side will be, I open my crown chakra and my throat chakra so much that I could be that voice my podcast could be the voice outlet for all
Yeah.
these practitioners, all these enlightened people or light workers or whoever want to share information to the people, all those people who are willing to listen, who are interested in a subject and so forth.
And you know, as I say that too, I feel like I want to be the best me. Like I see so much potential in myself and I want to be the best version that I can be.
Got it. So that's good.
Yeah. And it feels really good too. And I think I need to just trust that instead of like thinking maybe I shouldn't feel this way.
Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to
I feel like this whole podcast, you're just giving me advice. You're like, do this and do that.
That's a kind of, I'm a teacher. So not from profession. My imprint is a teacher. My big part of my constitution of who I am at the essence is a teacher. So I'm giving advice to everybody. You want it or not, you're gonna hear it.
But I think it's wonderful too because you get to see how, if you want to work with Elzbieta, how she would work with you.
I would teach you, and you're gonna get homework.
Which is, I think this is actually a great time to talk about what services you offer and what you wanted to talk about.
So channeling is my primary. I just take so much pride in it. Very third dimensional statement because
and it's probably really fun though, isn't it?
It is fun if you come with out of expectations.
Okay.
Because if you come with expectations, then I can tell you right now, you're not gonna hear whatever you thought of because the guides are talking to you. Yeah. So this is information that comes from different dimensions. So it's not, is most of the time is something that you are not thinking about. So the way I work with that is, I will say I'm employed not by my clients, but by their guides. So if the guides are, let's say you are my client, yeah? Mm-hmm. So if the guides are trying to give you a message and they're giving you signs and you have dreams and you hear it between the songs and book fell out and you open or you look at it and there was the sentence and you read it and you forgot about it. And so they're giving you like naggings, and in your life, you are on your path and you have to take a turn, but you keep missing the nagging. So you keep going straight. You like almost like you're missing to take the exit. Then the guides will make you find me. And I'll be like, oh, we need to talk and this is what you're missing. So this is not happening anymore, but in the last 12 months, I will say, the thing that people were nagged the most about was writing books. So there was someone who came in and say, oh my God, like for the last couple of years, we're trying to get pregnant and we cannot get pregnant. And like, I'm so frustrated. And like I see book, just like book, and I can hear it, the word book. I'm like, how about the book? And that woman is like, what book? How do you know about the book? I was like, well, you have to write a book. You're not gonna get pregnant until you write the book. And she said, well, I'm thinking about it. It's not that big of a deal. And so you see, so she doesn't realize that that book is gonna have a big impact on a group of people. Yeah. So she doesn't put the weight on it, and she's keep pushing it. So she's like, oh, I want to have a family first, and then I'm gonna write a book at one point in my life. So we need to recognize that when we have urges and nudges of creating something, there are deadlines. Because if you are a painter and you paint a painting, and that painting may have an impact on someone, it needs to be ready for that person when they coming in that physical area where the painting is. So meaning, I don't know, you paint a painting and it's for someone to see who is from New York, and that person is going through on vacation in San Diego in that particular summer, and they're gonna bypass this gallery and they need to see that painting. So the painting then is serving as an encoded information. It's gonna trigger something in that person, aha moment, consciously or subconsciously. So we think that, oh, I'm just an artist and I'm painting. No, No, you're sharing information. Books are huge because books have literally information encoded in words. Now going through that transition, everything is so timed and is shifting so quickly that we need to act very, very fast on our urges of creativity. It doesn't matter if that's a song, if that's just the music, if that is art, painting, dance, a book, poetry, TV show, TV script, it doesn't matter. If it comes, like if it didn't exist, but it comes where we think from our mind, is not, but it's really from the divine, but it comes through your body into this existence in any shape and form. So express again through dance or literature or scripts, music, painting, colors, anything that is creative, that is for a reason to serve others. And sometimes it just needs to serve one other person, because it's a trigger point for that person to now be like a candle lighting a light on everyone. So you being a candle light to that one person who now is lighting this.
I've definitely had that experience where I look at a piece of artwork and I'm like, that is so beautiful, and then I can feel my heart just open and expand. And I think that we might forget how precious and important those moments are when our heart does expand, and how that invisibly affects everything around us.
Yeah. And art is also the only thing that is surviving, because if you want to know how people live, I don't know, 2,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago, you find paintings on the walls.
True.
And that's the only thing you can find. You're not gonna find bones, like very little. You're not gonna find anything.
Yeah.
You're just gonna find art in whichever, maybe for us primitive state, but not really, because some of it are very detailed.
So one of your services, channeling.
Channeling, yes, and again with I cannot specify enough, with high vibrational beings of light and love. Someone asked at one point if I am afraid of negative entities and how do I deal with negative entities and stuff like that. I am intimidated by negative entities. However, in my readings, because we're tapping in, this is your reality of Earth, this is other dimensions, we're tapping in so high, the negative beings will never be able to sustain their vibration over there. So they cannot even reach us over there. Wherever we're pulling the information from is 100% safe. And I create that purposely so I can feel comfortable, and instead of watching over my back and seeing what's going on, I can just focus on the direct translations. So in channeling also, I channel your guides.
Yes.
So this is very unusual because most people channel just a guide, their own guide. What I do is I channel yours, and then Susie's gonna be Susie guides, and so forth. I believe that we're living in reality that is like a fractal, and we have the patterns that are keep repeating itself until you shift out of them. And literally, let's talk about the marriage, or friendship. So you have this horrible friend that is bad mouthing you, and you finish that friendship, you don't talk to this person anymore, you have a new friend, and the friends start bad mouthing you because you didn't learn the lesson. So now you're breaking up with that friend, and then you have a next one, and it's like a fractal. It's gonna keep repeating itself until you learn. And once you learn, once you get out of that pattern, you're then shifting up, and now you're going through another pattern, whatever that pattern is. Now we may have, so this is on a microscopic level in this lifetime. Now you also may have a huge patterns that go from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. And those ones are much more difficult to spot because you don't have the remembrance that that already happened 15 times through different lifetimes.
Yeah.
Just focusing on your patterns in this lifetime and finding a way to raise the vibration, your vibration, and get out of it, that alone is gonna shift your life so much. So someone asked, how do you find your passion when you are miserable and lost? That is a difficult question, but so many people is in that situation, yeah? So you have to start somewhere, and where you start is two things. First of all, from modern psychology, we know that when you are a child, you're free. You are 3 years old, 4 or 5. If you fortunate enough to be born to a regular family and you're not going through some kind of hardship, like, your both parents are alive and so forth, and you have like fairly normal life, then in the age of 2, 3, 4, 5, you were pretending to be that someone. You were, for example, pretending to be a mommy because your passion could be to have a child. This could be also your life mission, by the way. You could be pretending to be a doctor because you are compassionate. So becoming a doctor or nurse is going to release that energy, that desire of nurturing other people.
When I was younger, I used to play teacher and student with my neighbor. Like, we would literally write out homework assignments, and we would both like go back and forth and like doing it, and we loved it so much.
Yeah, so that is gonna show later on in your life in a moment where you're gonna start writing books. Yeah, that's gonna be you being a teacher, you sharing the information.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm like gathering information right now to eventually
gather it and have a system where you're storing it. So like you're working on that already.
Yeah.
Regardless that is gonna come to fruition, decades from now. For everyone who is like, oh my God, what's my passion? I'm so miserable and lost in life. Look first, what were you passionate about? See if that resonates.
When you were younger, right?
Yeah, when you were
really
when
young.
you were small. Yeah, to the age of 7, because once you turn 7, you basically forgetting the connection to the divine then is becoming very weak, and you are now embraced by this reality, and you start running with the entire crowd. So from the age of 1 to 7, however, most people don't remember when they were 1. Because it's like you don't really play, you're just learning to walk and whatever. So how you can start raising your vibration, because in order to find the passion, you also you need to raise your vibration to reach out to the frequency of that passion. Obviously, you're not in that frequency because you're lost and miserable. So
and I think that so when you feel really miserable in this low vibration, you kind of start to try to think about things like what you want to do or what you're passionate about, but you're still at that level where your thoughts aren't in the vibration of up here where like your true passion is.
Yeah, so let's explain that in a I think in English you call this allegory. Let's give the name to the word passion. Let's give the name movie.
Movie,
like a movie. You want to go and see a movie, because you're reaching out, you want to reach to express your passion. In order to go and watch the movie, you have to get up, you have to get dressed, even shoes, jacket, whatever. You have to make yourself walk to the movie theater, and then you have to sit and be present to the movie and watch the movie. So the same with the passion. You have to get up, you have to get ready for it, and you have to walk that distance to get to that passion, and now you have to be present to it. So to getting ready meaning that will be raising your vibration. You need to get to that point, and now you can just become a vessel for that energy to go right through you. As a human being, the way you are constructed is when you look in a mirror, you see your physical body. But that is a small part of you. It's almost like if you take an apple and you cut it in half, you have the inside of it. That's your physical body. And then you have a huge magnetic field around you. That will be the part of the apple that we eat. So you raising your vibration through moving that energy around your body. Now that energy is moving like this, but it's also spinning. So don't want to make things complicated. And we call it torus. And that energy is also connected from the divine to your crown chakra, and from your root chakra, which is on the base of your spine, and your feet, is connected to the middle of the earth. So you ground it. You have the divine, this is your soul, and then you have the connection to your physical body, because your physical body is part of the earth. You can have your physical body only on earth. And then when you die, when you transition, your soul part, the consciousness, the part that is talking to you right now, is leaving the body to the divine, but your physical, your flesh, stays here because it belongs to earth. It cannot go over there. You need to ground yourself. Anything that you want to manifest on earth is going to belong to earth, so you have to be very connected to earth. So you ground yourself. Couple ways of grounding yourself will be walking bare feet on the grass or on the sand on a beach. That is absolutely the best, the easiest, the fastest, impacts your body within seconds. Being exposed to sun, that is another one. We get a lot of information, divine information, through the sun. Taking deep breaths, that would be another technique. If you relax your body and then you focus for a few seconds, you sit in a quiet environment, and you're trying to focus, what can you hear? Can you hear the truck that just passed by your window? Can you hear the bird chirping? Can you hear the water dripping? What can you hear? Can you hear someone walking? Open your eyes and focus on what can you see. Like trying to play a game with your brain. Can I collect 25 colors within next 10 seconds? And like that is gonna make your brain be focused right here and be grounded. So that's very important. So that's one part, is grounding. So your root chakra, your feet being grounded. So all those techniques will be for grounding. And now the second thing you want to do is to connect your crown chakra to the divine. So you can imagine that when you take a breath, and you, either when you inhale or exhale, but on the movements of your lungs, you're pushing gold energy out of you. Imagine this is your essence, through your crown chakra up to the divine. And you keep pushing it up and up and up until you feel like you touch the divine. So let's make this kind of doable for us. So let's imagine that the divine is in a level of the clouds. So you want to go all the way to the clouds. Imagine that the divine energy is going to be energy of like a fluff, goldish, white, gorgeous, nurturing, loving energy. And then you say, I'm requesting connection, and I'm requesting communication with you, or I'm requesting support from you. I'm requesting that you join me in my body. And now you're gonna start bringing through the breath the energy right to your body. And then you wanna sit it on your heart chakra. Yeah. So now you're connecting between both. If you wanna go to next step, what I do sometimes for myself, either standing or sitting, standing mostly, I will imagine that with the breath, I inhale, I move the energy, I exhale, I drop the energy, and I move my whole energy of my torus like this. And
how do you spell Taurus?
Just like the sign of Taurus,
okay,
like the bull.
Okay.
That is very helpful, yeah, because that makes your entire body vibrating and on higher frequencies super fast within seconds. To raise your vibration also will be through your thoughts. So if you're miserable and you're lost, and you focus on being miserable and lost, you're just walking opposite direction to the dark tunnel. So you have to hold on to every glimpse that you can. Like, oh, today is beautiful and the air feels so fresh and it is so much sun, it makes me happy, and you realize that. Stay with it as long as you can. Stay with it instead of for 1 second, for 10 seconds, you know? See if you can go outside. if that like kind of uplifts you. If you're miserable and you watching TV and you see a movie that you like and it's a movie that is positive, and preferably some kind of comedy, makes you giggle, makes you relax, that raises your vibration. If you feel lost is very interesting energy, because when we feel lost, like we're getting to the point of like being hopeless, and I'm not talking now about, I want to exclude from that people who are internally sick and there is no hope. So that's everybody but that group of people. You don't know where you are in life. Everything is spinning around you. You are like in a dark tunnel. There is no light, and like you're dying. That is actually an amazing moment, because those kind of feelings are, unless you, again, one more group, chronically depressed and suicidal, that is not a good moment for you. But if you are not suicidal, if you are just, life is not working for you, and everything again is spinning and you're in a tunnel and there is no light, that is usually the last moment before there's that big reveal. Ta-da! We're changing your life. This is where you like going from your life path into the exit, and you're right on a curve to the exit. Yeah, this is where there is no light in the tunnel. It's bad. And you feel like you're dying. You're not dying. You're just gonna now go straight, and it's gonna be like, oh, new pattern, new life, new chapter in your life. So being lost is actually pretty good. In 98% of the cases.
Do you believe in asking for specific signs from our guides, or do you believe in just letting things flow, seeing what signs are there, and then interpreting whatever comes to you?
If you want a sign, and would you look for the sign because you want a confirmation that the guides hear you or they with you or something, or?
So specifically for someone, their brother just passed away, and she's like asking for a sign that he's okay and he's peaceful.
Okay, so when you die, and I don't really like this word because that word means that something ended, and really nothing is ending. I died, I didn't end. You have your consciousness. Your consciousness does not die. What dies is you almost like, it's like a butterfly in a cocoon. It transform into the cocoon, transform into butterfly, and now is leaving the leftovers of the cocoon and is flying out. And this is literally how it is. Almost like you're getting your, when I died, I get my freedom back. I get my connection to the divine back. Not to the divine, to the God. I was surrounded by nothing but unconditional love. There was no barriers in knowledge. I knew anything and everything. I could move so quickly between the heavens, because I went to heavens, which look more like a cosmos. And if I remember, I want to check on my earthy mom, in a split of a second, so fast, I was instantly in the hospital looking at my mom. It moved so fast. Now, when you die, because obviously I came back, yeah? But when you die and you're not coming back here, it's been said in mystery schools that there is a moment of transition where you're going through like, you need a moment to recalibrate. And then you're moving to a different dimension. Either that is gonna be something that we refer to as a heavens, or it will be different planet, or will be different reality. But I believe that we may move back and forth. I believe that we may get connected. One of the questions that is not here was, can you talk to someone who used to be, you knew them and they transition? Yes, you can. It's very easy. Just talk to them like I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
So sit down at the table, make a space, sit down at the table or a sofa or whatever you used to like to do together. If you like to play games, sit down and play a game, or if you watch TV or whatever, you cook together. invite that person, say, oh, I miss you. I would really like to, let's say they love cooking. I would really like to cook one more dinner with you. Can we cook it right now? I'm inviting you. We're gonna cook your favorite meal and I have all the veggies and whatever. And start cooking and start talking to that person like they literally are there. And you're gonna start hearing them in your head. And you're gonna giggle and you're gonna laugh and you're just gonna have a normal conversation. Thank them for it on the end. And that is possible. I learned this first time when my favorite uncle died and or transition. And I was going through heavy time and I asked myself, what will make it better? And I said, oh my God, I wish I could talk to my uncle. And in that moment, I felt someone putting arm around me. And you know, when someone puts arm around you, that you can feel their fingers on your arm. I could feel them so pronouncedly. So I freaked out. I was like, I'm in the middle of the street. I was like, oh my God, am I in danger? No one was around me. And I could feel that so strongly. That was the first time ever. And I was shocked. I didn't know this can work. That was years ago. And this is what made me believe that this is possible. I talked about cooking. So my grandma was supreme chef. And I am not. I didn't get an ounce of it. I basically can only make coffee. And I was cooking and I was messing up on a recipe completely. And I could hear someone giggling around me. Again, it was just me in the kitchen. I live by myself. And I was like, oh my God, that is like laughing of my grandma. So I just said it. I was like, Grandma, stop laughing. What should I do now? And literally ideas start popping up. And I did that. And I recovered the meal. It didn't get bad. I was like, oh my God, I think I really get a channeling from my grandma.
I really love that. I was just about to ask you, how can they help? Like, now that some of our loved ones are on the other side, how can they help us? And that was a beautiful example of like, she helped you recover a dish. Yeah, it's so powerful. Yesterday I saw a medium and my mom came through, and for some reason it hit me differently. I, for some reason, preserved my mom she passed away when I was 12. I preserved her when she died. And I guess like I've always thought that she's within that same consciousness. But yesterday, what I realized is that wherever she is right now, she is growing and expanding, and I still have access to talk to her, and she still has the same kind of energy that she did when I was alive. And I think we used to love doing home videos, and I feel like she's on the other side, she's guiding me and helping me and still creating the videos with me.
You know, so not only she's there, but she could be here if you call her and you invite her. So I did, a friend of mine had a birthday and we decided to do channeling. She asked me to do channeling for the whole group of her girlfriends. The session's supposed to be 1 to maximum 2 hours. We were sitting forever, like almost midnight, we stopped talking.
Wow.
Someone took a picture as I was channeling, and we saw lights, like 5 blue lights doing channeling. So we have a picture of the actual physical manifestation of the being that was talking, which we couldn't see with naked eye. And it was kind of like set up, and then the second picture was like from, so first was like on my, if I remember correctly, on my heart chakra level, and then it moved. And it moved in the 5 lights was in the same position that was here. So interesting that it moved just like, almost like you have a body, 2 hands, 2 legs, and a torso and a head. So it was this 5 points that was the whole body.